Natalia Sokolova. Ms. Sokolova is the co-founder and managing partner of SGG World LLC, a group of companies that provides strategic guidance to companies around the world. With expertise in technology startups and natural resources companies, she co-founded SGG Worldwide to make a difference in the world's future, which she strives to do every day. Ms. Sokolova graduated magna cum laude in 1998 with the University of Maryland's dual major in finance and international business. She sits on boards of kickforlife.org and maybach.org. Natalia is a member of the Russian Nobility Society, National Investor Relations Institute, and National Association of Professional Women. Ms. Sokolova is joining us today to speak about blockchain and the future of everything. So please give a big round of applause to Ms. Natalia Sokolova.
Thanks so much for having me. Thanks for the introduction. I'm very honored to be here. If my voice goes off, it is what it is. So, since I only have 7 minutes to talk about, and blockchain is such a complex subject, I decided that rather than just focusing on what blockchain is, I'm going to focus on why I chose to be in the space and why I chose blockchain to be one of the industries that I'm really focused on. In order to do that, I probably have to start from the very beginning. I mentioned Nobility Society. I was born into the oldest living noble family in Russia. My great-grandma actually went to the School of Noble Women by the court of the Tsar. But when the Stalin regime came and during World War II, the family was kicked out on the street and she was exiled to Gulag. And my grandpa was left to be on the streets alone, only being 9 years old during World War II. That didn't stop him from becoming one of the most recognized scientists in the world who got Lenin Prize, which is the same as Nobel Prize, but it's from the Soviet Union. And my great-grandma, she not only survived, but years later, she was reunified with her family, and I was fortunate enough that she actually got to raise me. So why I'm saying that is because from that family perspective, I was fortunate to be raised with a lesson that I've learned the most is to never give up and to really always be true to yourself. And those are the core values that really got me where I'm standing right now. So after winning a scholarship in Moscow State University, actually I got a chance to go study in US. The plan was for me to graduate here and go back to either Russia or Switzerland and work with my dad on the family office side. Well, that didn't go through sometimes. If you want a God laugh, just tell him about your plans. As soon as I got to university at the age of 16, I got a horrific car accident. I was completely paralyzed from the waist down. Doctors gave me 3 days to live. Best case scenario was the wheelchair. And then when my brain kicked in again, so I remembered what my grandpa and my great-grandma went through, and I was like, well, it's gotta be, I'm just gonna focus, I'm gonna do everything I can, and failure is not an option. So on the very difficult road to recovery, I started realizing that the reason God is giving me a second chance not only to live but to walk, have 2 beautiful children, is there's got to be a different reason for me to be here. And my mission is to really put my message across and to inspire people to have, to believe in themselves, to have faith in themselves, to help to overcome. So I was like, well, how can I do it? So mission is the mission. So I didn't go back. I left the family office business for that time being. And by some very interesting intervention right after graduation, I actually also ended up being into the modeling career. And through modeling career, I had a way to influence millions and get my message across. So it was my first step to achieving that mission. And I think the most thing I'm proud of from that part of my life is that I was actually able to get 2 people that I know of from a communication with them who completely gave up hope in their lives and were from their accidents, were in wheelchairs, never ever planned to do anything. They actually started believing in having faith in themselves, and a couple of years later they got out of the wheelchairs and started living a great life. So I think that when you start impacting people's life, one person at a time, it creates you a huge desire to do it on a much bigger scale. So to make an impact, especially after walking out from the family office side, I realized that I have to focus on making enough money that I can make that impact. So I was an entrepreneur, I'm still am. I ran a few businesses, and a few years later, when I was financially secure, I started looking at technologies, because I figured out the best way to impact the world is through technologies, which can be a highway to every single corner of the world. So what I started looking for is technologies that not only have a possibility of positively impact millions of people, and can be growing on a large scale, but also something that will be needed in everyday's life. So right now my two main focus is, as far as technology goes, I would say blockchain and gaming or gamification of the world. Well, the latter one is easy to understand, with 2.6 billion gamers playing daily. I mean, it's a straight way. When you get to that, we can get to millions to inspire them and to use them. Blockchain is a little bit more complex. So why blockchain? To make it, in a simple explanation, I'll look at blockchain as technology. Blockchain is just decentralized way to two people to have an agreement together and put it in a centralized ledger, which is going to be a very safe, secure transaction that is going to be recorded, almost impossible to create into a break, and it cuts out a huge portion of the middleman, which reduces transaction fees quite significantly by getting rid of the middleman. So again, why the blockchain? I'm looking from the perspective of the poor people, third world countries. How can it change their lives? And let's pick a lady who is living somewhere in Africa, and she decides to have a job in America so she can support her family. She comes here, she's a maid or a nanny, and she needs to send the money home. How does she do it? Western Union, ridiculously expensive. Plus you're going somewhere, you're dealing with more and more cost. You don't know the transaction fees. So it doesn't work. Traditional banking is not available everywhere. But blockchain, it's a simple app. You can go, put it in, and then the person on their phone gets access, and somebody can deliver the money to their door in their currencies. Example are limitless, we don't have time obviously to go through them. But I think that blockchain is not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's the matter how soon, because it's 100% knocking on our doors. And one thing I actually want to leave you with is, from my experience, like in airplanes, help yourself before you can help anybody else with a mask. Find, one or two things in your life that really stops you, limits you from what you believe accomplishing your goals and desires. It can be health, it can be any situation. And really focus on yourself, because we're so busy focusing, trying to take care of everything else, that sometimes we forget that we need to start right here. Because to do anything, we are all born to be great, we are all born to make difference and impact. But in order to do it, you have to have passion, and passion comes from love to yourself. So give yourself some love. God bless you. Thank you.